Hi, I'm Jeanine. Welcome to my channel. Today in this video, I'm putting together the progress of me doing the cover of River. The choreography is created by Monroe Lee. The original performance is done by Yeji and several professional dancers. Their collaboration is so sparkling, so impressive. The first time I saw this performance, I add to the wish list of mine. And at the same time, I realized there are difficulties and challenges I have to tackle. All those challenges are a way to help me do the things I've never done before, achieve what I haven't achieved before. I'm not a professional dancer or choreographer. Still, I dedicate a big chunk of my free time to do the dance practice, dance cover, or even just the physical training. I just enjoy dancing so much. But a year ago, I would only say, okay, I enjoy watching people dancing. Even it's the same choreography, I would watch them back and forth. I just feel so refreshed and encouraged. And at the same time, I realized that there is so much flexibility in the delivery of a dance performance, as if different dancers are telling different stories. So what if I was the one telling story? There's just so much more to it. It's almost like making a coffee. So different people have different tastes in terms of what define a good cup of coffee. Why not? Just try and create my own version. It's very exciting, starting with that idea, and then through learning and training and repetition, I received something more than I expected. I went through mental and physical changes after all these practices. So when I repetitively practice certain movement non-stop, it looks like an Arabic training, and I really enjoy that. Also, to prevent myself from injury, because I want to keep dancing, I would have to push myself, train my muscles, give myself more strength. I train my core to support the execution of dance movement, and that helps me a lot, even outside the dance. So in order to nail down the choreography, I have a checklist to go through. I have to nail down the overall texture, the floor work, element of walking, the last but not the least, hair and head. The first thing on the list, texture. It's really a question to myself, how I want to portray myself with the music. Alternative question is, how I want my audience to feel when they watch me dance to this music. The implication is that I will try to own each movement. I don't want to be in a position where I simply execute the move because choreographer chose to do so. I want to own the movement by understanding the meaning behind it. I spend a lot of time watching dance videos, and one of my observations on professional dancer is that they always offer the movements in an expensive way. They are so rich in tensions, and the professional dancers can somehow maintain that tension level throughout the song. This does not look trivial to me at all. I'm saying this because I noticed how out of breath I was immediately after that floor work. It's almost like burpees. When I do the burpee and then I get up, I can be really out of breath. I think this is a good chance to push myself and really do a calculation on how I allocate my stamina, my energy, and my consciousness. Here comes the part that I love and hate at the same time. I was easily bruised as a child, and then I growing up that way. So I prepared myself a pair of knee sleeves, and then I especially pay attention to the gravity points. I would definitely not put any weight directly on the bones. I would make sure that I always engage my core muscles. Okay, so far I haven't mentioned anything about the splits. I didn't really have the flexibility. I worked on it as my plan A. Plan B, I'll just use some alternative. I don't have to finish the choreography with the splits. I saw many great dance cover without the splits. To increase the flexibility, I always do it after the workout when I was still warm. I checked some YouTube videos just to make sure I don't cause myself any injury. It's not like just putting your legs onto opposite direction. You have to accommodate to your natural bone shape, bone structure, and then engage the inner thigh muscles, and also making sure that you are doing this when your body's warm, your joints are warm. You're not just doing the splits in the middle of the day. The whacking part, I didn't do anything special except to overcome my exhaustion immediately getting up from the floor. So to overcome that, I have to constantly remind myself, okay, these feet go here and these arms go here, and I need to give my full strength to execute the moves and no slacking off allowed. Oh, and another thing I reminded myself is that relax my facial muscles, relax, and do not look so tired. Head and hair movements. Of course, a great piece of choreography would contain more or less head movements, and if you engage your hair, it will look more charming than you don't. But I do have difficulties dealing with the neck movement because my day job just involves so much of sitting in front of a computer, and I tend to not move while I work. So the result is me feeling very tight around my neck, and when I finish the workout, the dance practice, I always feel very painful moving my shoulder.
Do is raise the arm ahead of you, raise it up to 90 degrees, and go out to about 30 degrees, thumb facing the ceiling. Then you turn your hand around, thumb facing down, and now with the other hand, we're going to apply pressure on this arm, push it down, resist it with the affected arm, and if this causes you a pain in the shoulder, you're struggling with an impingement.
People, you know, your shoulder is a ball and socket joint. If I were to stand here with bad posture, meaning I let my shoulders round forward, my chest is tight, my head comes forward, and then I try to reach overhead, what happens is we get into this position where a mechanical block occurs. That ball can only rotate so far in that socket before it meets its end range.
First, what we need to do is reduce the inflammation. Secondly, we increase the space, and we do this by hanging. Third thing I'm going to demonstrate to you is some really effective exercises which will help to prevent impingement in the future.
Following those videos, I am starting to hang myself on a pull-up bar or just lean against a wall and really trying to stretch the muscle. And then I made a very conservative assumption that I'm not in the perfect positioning anytime. So before any workouts, I would always spend more time than just a normal warm-up to reset my spine to a neutral position. So I find it particularly interesting for this river choreography that some of the counts, they're not just about my limbs or my tummy, it's actually one count for my hair. I shoot my head and the hair went up to the air, and then I actually spent almost a count, wait until it fell down. I feel great about this. It's somewhat just very, very interesting. Normally I would end here after finish all my dance practice checklist, but since I decided to do a serious dance cover video, I also spent some time thinking about the outfit and double checking my chair. For the outfit, I ended up with a tank top and a straight bottom. The reason I choose tank top is that the tank top will leverage my arms, it would not smooth out any details, so it makes the movement looks edgy. And I like that. I notice how I still have the imperfection on my lower body movement and even just the lower body alignment. And I choose not to go with something like legging. A straight bottom would still have the somewhat edginess in it, but smooth something out a bit. I was happy with the result, and also I can hide my knee sleeves. For the chair, I ended up with a different chair than I started with for production video. The reason I chose that chair is it's lighter, although it's wobbly. The overall texture just goes well with the sound and choreography. Yes, I need my chair to be clean and sharp. The only thing I have to pay attention is making sure I always land in a good gravity point, so it's kind of in the middle of the chair and not like to the left or right. And then when I move around On the chair, I'm making sure I use my core muscle to do that. I don't really slide on the chair. I actually lift myself up a bit and trying to move around. Normally, I would just shoot the video in my living room, but this time I decided to go big. Partially because my living room is not big enough, even though I move things around, still there isn't a good place for my camera. And the other important reason is that I feel like it's the perfect chance to have such an experience of a final serious production. I will give my best, I will practice to a degree that I barely make mistakes, and then let's see how it turns out. And from my own perspective, I think it turned out to be not bad. Anyway, so I just had a wonderful experience doing this dance cover. I saw myself struggle here and there. I know for me, the consistency is always a core struggle. I don't have a very solid dancing background, so my execution sometimes is not using the correct muscle group. But still, I'm so happy that I can make sense of the whole choreography and bring out my own version of this river as a story. And I think the improvement in my dance execution is more general than just this song, this choreography. So I think for similar movements, similar grooves, I can execute it better now. That's something also very rewarding. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.